Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Don't you just miss buddy cop Obama and Biden memes? Like
Simpler
where,
times.
Yeah, like the times where it's like, all right, national crisis, everybody. What do we do? Joe raises hand. Obama says, except call the Avengers. Joe lowers hand.
Oh man, nah, man, simpler times. You remember when we used to argue about the color suit Obama would wear?
Right.
And whether he wanted regular mustard or Dijon mustard on his burger?
This was before the term drip became commonplace.
But listen, Obama definitely had the sauce, you know what I mean? He had so much sauce, it sent Fox News into a tailspin for like a week. They were like, how dare he wear a tan fucking suit? Are you kidding me? But Donald, it's perfectly fine that Donald wear those cartoonishly untailored, long-tied abominations. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, he is the frumpiest fucking president. Like, oh my god. I mean, Grover Cleveland probably had more fucking swag than Donald Trump did. Fucking Taft probably had more drip than Donald Trump did. And that nigga allegedly got stuck in a bathtub.
Do you think he had a solid gold bathtub?
Taft?
Yeah.
I mean, Taft was so corrupt. He made Teddy come out of retirement and essentially like split the Republican Party into like two parties because fucking Taft was super corrupt.
All through the Trump presidency, we missed the opportunity for Trump Melania married with children memes.
Oh, dude, that would have been great.
Right?
How did we miss that opportunity? It's because it wasn't like haha funny. I think if things had been more like Curb Your Enthusiasm, like, which we all initially expected, and less like, oh, Trump may actually be a megalomaniac, then we would have gotten more married with children memes. Because that would have been, oh god, I feel like that perfectly encompasses
like,
the way that household
like the asshole fucking son being like Jared Kushner.
Yeah. Oh god, that's great. Oh.
Melania's just perpetually mad, and then Trump's just like, back when I was in high school football.
Because that's who he is. Back in the 80s, back the way we did things when I was coming up. You know, Mr. I think I'm a fucking New York Mafia Don.
The levels of incoherence are rising and crashing through.
This is Doc
and Ziggy,
and you are back at it with the flood. That's
where
right.
We bring our pop perspective
to put the culture in context
and make the mainstream make sense. Because if we do not make sense, we don't make dollars. Holla! And
Speaking
normally,
of that,
this is the show where we take the news that happens around us and talk about how it shapes the culture that defines us. But this is more of a B-sides episode. Yeah, we are going to talk about Tucker Carlson or Tucker Carlson.
Or fuck it, thank God he's gone again.
Ooh,
like,
that was kind of a slant rhyme.
Because, you know, this isn't the first time he's been fired, but we're going to get a little bit more into what's been going on with that.
Well, he got fired twice and sunned once.
Speaking of sun, Biden was fucking on one with that White House Correspondent speech.
God.
Yeah, I mean, this one...
Singers left and right. I was like, if these were the type of things that were dropped in like a rap battle, I still would have gasped. But I'm like, oh shit. This is Joe.
Yo, 80-year-old Joe was out there sending shots out though, like fucking American Sniper.
People are like, oh, he's an old man. I'm like, no. He is an old Irish Catholic man.
He went full Dark Brandon. So much so he embraced it, and a lot of people are probably calling it corny that he embraced the Dark Brandon thing. But I mean, like, come on.
The Dark Brandon meme is corny.
Yeah. And that's what's so great about it.
Yeah.
He's full octogenarian. Like, I mean, it is surprising that they can get him up to do anything other than crossword puzzles and applesauce at this point.
I want to say that Biden has long passed the point in life where there's a point in life where eventually you're just old enough that you're allowed to just do shit because people. Yeah.
Yes.
Like
it's
get naked at the gym
or smell people's hair for no reason. Biden, Joe, what the fuck is up with that? Like,
But I mean, like you know, you don't have time for that. And
no. Apparently, nobody has time to question this nigga about why he likes to just kiss random people and smell their hair. But
I think we all ask questions about that. But what I'm saying
it's just Grandpa Joe.
The older you get, just the less fucks you give.
Yeah, I really wish he would, like, really stop giving a fuck, though, and, like, just go full Dark Brand. Like, at this point, since you've embraced the meme, Joe, and because we know you listen,
yeah, we do know you listen. Thanks for the shout out during that Philly speech.
Just go full Dark Brandon, dog. Just start doing all the liberal Bernie Sanders shit that they were afraid you were gonna do. Like, every time Fox News is like, oh my god, gear up, Biden's gonna turn us into a socialist country, just go for it. Executive order the fuck out of this shit. What are they gonna, and then play senile. Go out there and say some weird shit again and just be like, you know, when you're on Air Force One, you gotta flush all the Air Forces, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if it really goes up the chain, you just give Clarence Thomas some tax breaks and it'll be fine.
Yeah, send him on another fucking trip to the fucking Mediterranean. And you know, I'm sure we can get things through. Like, these conservative judges seem to be really easy to pay off. Like,
how far is Clarence Thomas from Uncle Ruckus?
I mean, him and Kanye is neck and neck at this point, right? Like,
does the winner get, like, the Rucky?
I don't know. The way you said that just felt really racist. Like,
it was like an offshoot of the Razzie.
I get it. It just felt racist coming from you. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Like,
unintentional racism.
Speaking of that, you called out Biden.
This is progress.
You called out Biden's use of the term black press during his correspondence speech, which I felt was once again another perfect example of just
accidental racism.
No, intentional pandering, right? But it, like, in a healthy way. Like, can we admit that there is, like, a healthy level of, but you have to pander in order to become the president, which is, like, essentially a popularity contest at this point. Thanks, Donald.
Well, it was very pandering in delivery and style.
I mean, I was getting ready to say it was necessary pandering because
it's just, like,
what he led into in bringing up the black press. It was just unfortunate the way 80-year-old Joe says black. It sounds like the way you say black when you're filing a police report.
I'll let you all know what that sounds like.
The black press. Black press. Black press.
Black! It was that black guy over there. Anyway, the impact that the black press, and he should have just said black media in general, has had on this country, right? And then alluding that to the coverage of Emmett Till and the absolute tragedy and travesty that whole scenario was, right? And the fact that it was because of the black press's media coverage of that situation that it became more of a national like screenshot on what was happening in what kind of traumas that the black community was being subjected to, right? Which really not necessarily spearheaded the civil rights movement, but it was just, you know, a factor that led to furthering the progression of what would become the civil rights movement, right? And we wouldn't have had that without the black press.
Speaking of, the TikTok that we have with Jon Stewart and Talib Kweli actually got a duet from somebody.
For real?
Yeah. Black dude with some dreads wearing a Ramones shirt. And he was just looking at the camera the whole time. He's like, yup. Pointing at him talking. He's just like, yup, I've been saying it. So, yeah, shout out to all caps King DJ C on TikTok for sharing that duet and just being like, yup, punk and hip hop. Been homies.
We appreciate the engagement, man, and you know where you can find us at. That's at the Flood Pod on everything.
And that is on everything.
And if you need a reminder, here is your reminder to like and subscribe.
Don't forget, we have a Discord link.
We have a Discord link. We have a Patreon if you're feeling giving.
We have a link tree with all of those things
on our socials at the Flood Pod on everything.
That's on everything.
Back to it, man. This correspondence dinner was great. I feel like we always have hilarious correspondence dinners.
On a fucking rocket ship to fame.
I feel like we always have great correspondence dinners when Democrats are in office.
Yes.
Right.
Or when Republicans are willing to go.
Yeah. But
it's been a while for that.
Yeah, those were Bush era things.
Because GW took those like a champ.
Yeah, I mean,
because we gotta remember, like,
because he says shit.
Fuck GW. Yeah. He's still pretty hilarious.
If you think committing war crimes is hilarious. I'm just cranking my back and getting started, baby. You know, and it just feels like Dark Brandon is really just getting started. And now that he's fully embraced it, I can't wait to see what comes from it. But you were saying Roy Wood also did a great job at hosting the Correspondence Dinner.
Oh, yeah. Great job at hosting the Correspondence Dinner. He finally got his, a couple of weeks ago, got his week-long stint as the Daily Show host. He killed
well deserved,
this
right?
Past week, Desi Lideck, woman after my heart.
You really got it. You really got it bad for her, yo.
Love Desi.
Down bad for that shit. Go ahead.
But he's also been killing it on all of his correspondent appearances, and then I mean, like, all of a sudden, he's now
hosting the Correspondence Dinner.
Correspondence Dinner.
So what are you saying, though? What are you alluding to?
I'm saying that's really impressive, and the Daily Show still needs a host.
Do you think that's the angle that they were going for?
A week of hosting.
Yeah,
and former correspondents.
Yeah, but I feel like typically those people are not chosen as the host, though.
Trevor was a correspondent. Colbert was a correspondent.
Colbert wasn't never a host of the Daily Show, though.
No,
but Trevor didn't ghost.
John correspondent.
But Trevor,
Ron Riggle, Steve Carell. They had a whole segment called Steven versus Steven, where Colbert and Carell would just like scream at each other.
I hear you, but what I'm saying though is people who guest host for the week while they're while they're trying to find a host typically don't end up as future hosts, right? Because when John left, Chris Rock hosted for a fucking week, and I was like, oh my god, the Daily Show with Chris Rock, old Chris Rock would have been phenomenal. New Chris Rock, I don't know how I feel about him hosting the Daily Show.
Yeah, no, not current Chris Rock.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, him
the
doing
slap.
It for a week.
I feel like the slap did something to Chris that his brain hasn't settled from that fucking concussion. Like he took that shit like a G, but Will may have hit him a little bit harder than we think. What is hitting, however, is this White House Correspondence Dinner.
They usually always do. I mean, like, if you really just want to watch like just good stand-up, but also like a good homage to the importance of a free press. By the way, fuck shit, fuck, bitch, shit, fuck.
Okay. Okay.
First Amendment!
There goes our NPR sponsorship, but it's all cool because they're not on Twitter anymore anyway. Thanks, Elon Musk, Lord and Savior.
The weekly Daily Show host rotating, I've really liked, and they did give every correspondent for like a month their run of doing it. And I feel like that legit is like a tryout. Because I don't think they're gonna like immediately announce the next host, because they also had a week off. So like I think Al Franken was the last guest host. They had a week off, and then they started the month rotating of the current correspondents.
The way it's almost like the way you're suggesting it. It would be like a trial run for each correspondent,
and then I imagine like
a potential
month
interview
of rotating guest hosts. Like I thought it was cool when like Marlon Wayans was on. I mean, Hasan was my favorite. I thought Al Franken brought like the perfect amount of boomer energy. But I mean, I don't want Al Franken hosting the whole time. But a week of Al Franken was cool.
I'm sighing because I feel like I've just had a revelation. How much money are you willing to put down that the new Daily Show host might be Hasan Piker?
Oh my god. He's too aggro.
I feel like
he wouldn't listen to his writers.
I don't think so.
Do you think I feel like that would be a pay downgrade for Hasan Piker.
I feel like no. Do you from his Twitch? He would just bring his Twitch audience over to the Daily Show, though.
Comedy Central pay him that much?
Comedy Central is owned by Warner, right? Like Time Warner.
I believe so.
I feel like Time Warner could front that bill.
Would they? For the Daily Show?
For the Twitch audience? This is just speculation, right? Like, I'm just speculating.
Have you seen this anywhere?
No, I have not. It is literally just because you said the name Hasan, and I thought about it, and I was listening earlier to Philip DeFranco, right? And he was talking about this is a very long read through line here, so just hold tight. Phil is covering a little bit of the like Amazon union infighting that's been going on between like two of the heads of the Amazon union. Like there's the guy that like spearheaded the whole like fight for unionization of Amazon thing, and then there's like a couple of the like other people who are part of the union who are like they're arguing about like money and potential embezzlement and things like that, but that's not the point. It turned out that one of the top donators to some union organization, I can't remember if it was like the fight for like Amazon's union organization or whatever, or if it's just like the people who like fight for union organization throughout like the entire nation. But long story short, TLDR, it's Hasan Piker, right? It's like one of the top 3 people, and it might even be fucking NPR, dude. All right, hold on. Can we like pause for a second? Because I just want to like clarify this in my brain. Yeah, no, I mean like Hasan may come with like a big paycheck, right? But he's out here doing wild shit. Like he's one of the top 3 main donators for the American Labor Union. Like
he does all of his stuff on Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, which is super anti-union.
Yeah.
Awkward.
I just feel like he's got a big enough following, and he already kind of has like a media background.
Well,
from working with TYT and all of that.
While you were just talking, I was thinking for a guest host, why doesn't
Hasan
Comedy Central
Piker.
broaden their horizons and give Philip DeFranco a shot?
Ooh. I don't think Phil would leave the Phil. I don't think. See, I
Do you
feel
think
like
Phil would guest host for a week? I'm not saying Phil to move to The Daily Show.
Yeah,
I'm saying
just-
a week of Phil hosting The Daily Show.
I don't think that's a bad look for Phil. I think that's a better look for Phil than it is for Comedy Central.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be really, really big for growing his channel.
I don't know if Phil needs it.
How old is the demographic for The Daily Show at its peak?
I feel like the Daily Show's demographic is within Philip DeFranco's demographic.
I think it goes a little higher. A little older. In which case,
So you think there are 50-year-olds out there watching The Daily Show?
yeah.
Because I think Phil's demographic goes at least into the early 40s at this point.
50-year-olds were born in 1977, which means they were 15 when Nirvana's Nevermind came out.
Okay,
Which
and
means they were 17 when Tupac died. Yeah,
Okay,
they're still reasonably... They've still seen shit develop before they get all cranky and crotchety.
I'm just saying, what makes you think that that translates to them being Daily Show viewers?
If they grew up watching The Daily Show...
With fucking Craig...
No, with John.
Why wouldn't it have been with Craig though? Wasn't that his name? It was
Craig Kilborn.
Yeah, yep, that's yeah.
Yeah. I got him from sports broadcasting, if I recall correctly.
That's why like the name Craig Kilborn sounds like a sports broadcaster. He sounds like he covers baseball and golf.
Like, I think Keith Olbermann, I can't remember if he did sports and then went to media, or if he did media and then went to sports.
Oh man, like the Trump man, I wonder what Keith Olbermann is doing right now, because the Trump presidency drove that dude crazy, right? And I was watching a lot of those like resistance videos that he was posting, but it was like very clear that like Keith was like fucking just gone off this shit. He was like, how the fuck could y'all let this happen?
Oh, did you hear that the creator of Dilbert turns out to be like a massive racist?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I don't know if we talked about that on the
I don't
podcast.
feel like it's necessary to talk about. Guy who makes a comic strip 40 years about middle management office life.
I'm upset because like Dilbert wasn't bad. Like it was very bland, right? Like, but as far as bland humor
Let's
goes,
think about the other comics that were surrounding it.
It was
the
like-
Boondocks, Calvin and Hobbes, Doonesbury,
Doonesbury,
A Far Life, The Peanuts.
The Peanuts. Okay.
Rest in peace, Charles Schultz. Peanuts are awesome.
Yeah, but you don't think Charles Schultz was like at least a tad bit racist, like probably towards like Asian people? I mean, they made the one black character sit on the opposite end of the Thanksgiving table all by himself. Dog. Listen,
I have nothing, but they were part of my childhood, so I kind of just remember the glory days like all of the people of our generation.
Make
A lot of those old games that you play
Make
are
the
not as fun
Peanuts
as they
great
used to
again.
be.
make comic strips great again. All this manga you kids are reading now. What is with all the fan service? The upskirt shots. I'm
How big of a deal
uncomfortable.
would it be if all of a sudden Bill Watterson opens a Twitter account and drops a new strip for
Watterson.
Calvin and Hobbes?
It depends.
I think it would explode the internet.
I mean, probably, but it would also really depend on like what the strip was about. Like, which way do you think this Calvin and Hobbes would lean? Like, do you think it would be like Calvin just virtue signaling and like QAnon whispering into the fucking like internet negosphere, or do you think,
I think it would be very
be
nihilistic.
Yeah, do you think it would be more boondocksy, like, but for white people?
It would definitely be more boondocksy. Because, I mean, the whole time, like, Calvin and Hobbes, like, yeah, it was funny and it's cute, but Bill was always on some next level shit.
No, he was. I mean, I have several of the...
I have the complete collection.
Yeah. Ooh, my man said I got the complete collection.
Well, they had like a omnibus, and I got given it for one of my like teenage birthdays. It's like $110, and it's 3 books, each about a inch thick.
Yeah, nah, I would.
And it's every Calvin and Hobbes comic.
I still read them to this day.
They're timeless. They honestly are.
They're classic Americana. Which makes me feel like it would probably lean more toward it's like what we're all thinking. It would be very tongue-in-cheek, though. And, you know, Hobbes would definitely be a Trump supporter, though.
You know what's... did you know that a picture...
I like how you're really trying to move past that, but a picture of what?
I refuse. There are more pictures, allegedly, of Bigfoot than there are of Bill Watterson. There's one public picture of Bill Watterson.
I thought you were going to say of Calvin peeing on things. Because they're, you know.
That is not made by Bill Watterson.
I know it's not. But Calvin has become the ubiquitous fuckboy for when you need something pissed on, right? Because when you want to let people know you don't like a thing, you go ahead and you just defame somebody's copyrighted material.
I want to give, hold on, impromptu.
And that wasn't a shot at like AI generated
impromptu
art.
Championship ring.
With 3 in the bottom of 9th inning to become the world champions yet again.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Got a really big team, and they need some really big rings. They need some really nice things. Better be coming with no strings. Better.
To Bill Watterson.
And here's why.
Other than the like 2 minutes of rambling that we've been doing.
Other than creating Calvin and Hobbes, which is a championship ring on its own.
On its own. Okay,
but
so it's non-Calvin and Hobbes related.
This is the finals MVP.
Uh-huh.
The fact that he, A, never sold the rights to it, turned down movie offers to make it, and yet it lives in ubiquity throughout pop culture with how genius and pure it is as work.
Here's where I'm gonna have to push back because I don't know about the youth in them today. I don't know, you know, how hip they are to Calvin and Hobbes, and I feel like I'm gonna have to be the guy that says it's time for Calvin and Hobbes to step into the digital era, buddy. You know, this is the time of VR. And like self-driving cars and hoverboards.
Are we waiting for Bill Watterson to die so the estate sells the rights?
Yes, so we can make Hobbes the terrible fucking rendition like the Scoob movie that they just did.
See the CGI movie like popping.
Yeah. Oh god. I mean, if they do it,
it's
like
gonna be like a more meta Mario Brothers movie.
No, I'm
okay with that.
I feel like if they do it like they did the Peanuts movie or the way they did Captain Underpants, like if they did it the way they did the Captain Underpants movie, then we're fine. Right? Like, get John Mulaney to voice Hobbes.
His new stand-up, by the way, is phenomenal.
And obviously...
It is chock full of cocaine jokes. Lots and lots of cocaine jokes.
So...
One of my favorites.
John Mulaney is Hobbes, and obviously, the choice for Calvin is Chris Pratt.
Okay, hold on.
No, but for real though, I would suggest maybe like a Chris Evans or Ryan Gosling, or I don't know, whatever tween heartthrob you guys are after. Just as long as, yeah.
I can actually see Tom Holland doing it.
Yeah, no, that's a way better choice than the fucking old men that I was suggesting play a young child with an imaginary friend. But
how many voice acting parts do you hear and you just think to yourself, man, that should have been Gilbert Gottfried?
I thought you were gonna say Phil Lamar. Because Phil Lamar is the voice acting code.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but he's still around voice acting. But
bringing it all back, I mean, I don't know who the Daily Show is going to end up with as their host. Just like you never know quite where this show is going to go when you tune in and listen every week. But I promise you that you will enjoy it. And we'll be back with more to enjoy right after
with this hot take.
So I should have all the elements ready to go. But what do we need? We need drums.
Hello, welcome back. And on today's episode, we're world building. We're talking about all kinds of franchises and expansions of universes.
We're
and
also
we're really
talking about something that I realized earlier today. And this is a
mind-bending.
fire hot take.
A mind-bendingly fire
that I
hot
have been
take.
hiding. I have been hyping it up, and I have been hiding it from you.
All day. All day. So
You ready?
you, along with me, will finally get to hear what is the hot take that he thought was so flames. He had to withhold it from me all day to get my genuine reaction live for you guys on mic. So yes, I am ready. Let's go. What is it?
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle leaving the monarchy to move to Los Angeles is the most American thing to happen since America.
I'm disappointed. It's not that the hot take isn't a hot take. It's just so random. Like, when you said Prince Harry, I was like, oh, where the fuck is this going?
Hear me out.
Yeah, no, explain
Hear me
yourself,
out.
King.
So, they defected from England
Okay.
with stolen wealth. So, yeah, they're technically pirates.
Is it stolen, though? If it feels more inherited, yeah?
That's what you want to call it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Stolen, inherited, is that what you want to call generational wealth in America? Sure, that works too.
I mean, what else do you call wealth that you got from being born in the monarchy?
But you stole it.
Okay, keep going.
They're an interracial
What else?
couple. She is a strong, independent black woman. He is an emotionally available, masculine figure. The United States has been looking for a first family. Well, I mean, we have one in the Obamas, but like, white America has been searching for one since the Kennedys. Harry is also a masculine figure. He literally went and fought terrorists, certified helicopter pilot.
He also dressed
dude,
like a Nazi for a Halloween party.
That's also pretty par for the course for
You didn't know that, did you?
No, but it still fits. I know the pieces fit. Because I watched
know
them
the
fall
pieces
away. And that is a reference that I doubt you get, but if you did, oh my god, I would be
No,
proud
but
of
it
you.
sounds like a emo song.
It's a Tool song.
It's a Tool song?
Yeah, so it's technically not emo, it's pretentious mathlete.
I was gonna say Tool can be pretty emo though.
Yeah, but they're also
I feel like you don't listen to Tool unless you're feeling pretty emotional.
or angry.
That is an emotion.
But I'm also not going
Welcome
to
back
listen
to the
Tool when I feel oh so joyous on a summer day.
Also, both emotions. Welcome back to the pod where I teach Dan what emotions are.
Sid needs therapy.
No,
Harry and Meghan Markle are the most American thing to happen since America.
I vehemently disagree. I think one of the most American things...
Look, we don't need the British monarchy. We need a British monarchy.
I vehemently disagree with you, because I feel like the most American thing that happened in a very long time is fucking Justin Pearson and what is going on over there in Tennessee.
He didn't leave the British Empire.
No, but the American Empire tried to put their boot on his neck, and he stood up and put his fist in the air and said, "Power to the people."
Okay, it may not be the most American thing, but you cannot deny that it is American as fuck.
I don't know.
It is American as fuck.
I don't know how I feel about the monarchy, dog, and I don't
That's
really
why they left it.
care about Meghan or Harry. I don't. I'm
And you know what? That people care a lot. Well,
less about or more. Where are you going? Where are you?
I think if we've settled
where are we
into
going?
it,
Are we
now we're just
settling
like,
into? What are we
this is-
settling into?
He's like our prince because he said "fuck you" to England.
Oh, you're still
He's like the
on
American
this.
prince, the American princess.
I feel like America definitely recognizes like Meghan, right? And it's like Harry gets a seat at the table because they're like, okay, that's your little boo thing, right? You went off and you married you a nice prince.
For real, they really have gone through like fucking hell.
Yeah, no, they.
Let's not understate that.
Proportionately, right? Like the hell that they've been through.
The hell that they
For-
have been through, given the circumstances of their lives. We
Yes.
all have stressors, given the circumstances of our lives.
Yes.
Which different.
For our listeners who may be like,
Some
why are we whining about rich
Some
people?
of the struggles are more immediate. Struggles that happen as a result of resources available can be stressful. I'm not going to say in the same way, because it's not. Like that taps into pure fight or flight. But they can feel equally stressful, even if they aren't.
So, with that being said,
Their relationship was put through, relatively speaking, scrutiny.
and you feel like the plight of their relationship is somehow endearing to the American iconography? I don't.
It's historical precedent to say "fuck you" to England.
So it's because they said "fuck you" to England. Literally.
Do you want to
that's-
know what England did to us during the World Cup match? They started chanting 9/11. So yes, saying "fuck you" to England is pretty alright in my book.
That's awful because this is not getting edited out, and I'm gonna be on record fucking rolling at that because it's hilarious that they would do that.
Not gonna be able to do it.
It's hilarious that they would do that because do you know how many
That
terrorist
says so
attacks?
much about American perception globally.
Do you know how many terrorist attacks have taken place on the London Bridge? Like, dude, like,
They'd be like, yeah, but we didn't fuck up that bad.
yo.
Those are only like 20, 30. That's like 1,000.
I'm
dude.
just saying, like, I also, like, that's very par for the course as far as, like, soccer, like, taunts are concerned. They literally throw bananas at black players.
You heard Trevor Noah's joke about the French team that won? Yes, finally won for Africa, because all of the players were like second generation French.
Yeah, like, listen. Soccer.
Because that's remnants of French colonization.
And I'm calling it soccer because it's vehemently racist. Like,
However,
the entire...
shout out to our one listener in the Gaza Strip.
I don't know if your hot take is that hot of a take. I'm gonna say it's mild, actually. I'm gonna push back here. I'm gonna say that this take is kind of a wet noodle.
I feel like this take fits in the boneless wings are a lie category, in the fact that it's something that nobody ever even considered until I put it on record.
No, I feel like, you know, the American, like, pop culture sphere has adopted them as American royalty at this point. Who does that put them in, like, in social circles with?
But you can't
The
tell me
fucking-
what they did isn't American as fuck.
I mean,
Is it American as fuck or not?
I guess it's as American as Tom Brady. Like,
just because he was the quarterback for the Patriots?
That's kind of how I feel. Like, ooh, they ran away from mommy and daddy. No, he ran away from mommy and daddy
For the love of his life.
And for the love of his life.
It's like John Smith and Pocahontas, minus the reality of her dying immediately after.
I was gonna say it's more Romeo and Juliet, right? But they
they're
don't
still
die.
living.
Yeah, they're still living. Living through this hell, this media hell. Oh,
it's like The Notebook if it resolved 40 years earlier in their lives.
You were fighting hard for this, and that is what I love. I love your conviction. Your conviction is the real hot take today.
You don't understand it, man. She was already famous for a TBS drama. I don't think you realize how big a deal it is to have a TBS drama.
No, what I didn't realize is how invested into this Meghan and Harry thing that you were until, like, today.
Harry flies helicopters.
So...
Blackhawks, specifically.
So, wait, hold on. I think I'm having another epiphany. Are you somehow unnaturally obsessing over Meghan and Harry because you wish Harry was flying the helicopter that Kobe was in that day?
Oh my god. That is not funny.
That is my hot take.
I'm really not okay with Kobe Bryant jokes. I'm really not. I make Kurt Cobain jokes left or right, but Kobe Bryant jokes I'm not okay with.
I don't think Harry would have been okay with the way that dude was flying that helicopter either.
I don't think he would have either. I would have trusted Prince Harry in that situation. And at least that way, Kobe Bryant would have only been the second most famous person to die in that crash.
I don't think Harry would have let it happen, you know, or at least I
don't
feel
think
like
Harry would have either.
I feel like that's
what could go
your
wrong
whole...
when you put your faith in British monarchy?
So is the long game of this for you that Kobe and LeBron play on the same team?
Kobe is dead.
But I'm saying he wouldn't be if Harry was flying the helicopter like
No,
you want.
Kobe retired in 2016. Remember, we're trying to debate whether or not it was Harambe being killed or Kobe Bryant retiring that sent us into this timeline.
Okay.
Remember?
But if LeBron joins the Lakers, then Kobe comes out of retirement.
That was a thing.
Okay, so
for a few months that was being rumored.
So
it was at least a meme.
So my point here is, in this hot take that you've come up with,
are you saying that LeBron's legacy is going to be tarnished because he can't resurrect Kobe Bryant from the dead?
No, you can't spin this because what you're saying is LeBron's legacy is tarnished because Prince Harry wasn't flying the helicopter that day, and we can't resurrect Kobe
because Prince
from the
Harry
dead.
was still under the confines of the monarchy. He was still planning his revolution, his mutiny, his coup d'etat.
Didn't they? But they moved here before Kobe died, though, right?
March of 2020.
It was March of 2020?
Oh my god, he moved to Los Angeles right around the same time.
It was
Kobe
too
Bryant
late!
died.
It was too
Kobe
late!
Bryant died in March!
No, it was January.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was too late.
2020.
See? So what you're saying here is that if they'd defected from the UK sooner, then Harry could have been flying the helicopter that Kobe and Gianna were on their way to fucking
Also,
basket
14 other people.
14? You can fit 14 people? And it's like, I'm kidding. I know you can fit more than like 4.
Honestly, I'm
6
shocked
people.
Kobe didn't learn how to fly the helicopter
They're himself. Honestly, Mr.
With Kobe Bryant being the fucking savant that he was.
I can speak Italian. Like,
Italian, Spanish. He
I
can
know,
speak
I know.
Slovenian.
Slovenia. But you can't fly a helicopter. You also...
He learned how to play Moonlight Sonata in a single night to apologize to Vanessa.
For raping somebody.
Consensually cheating on his wife.
Oh, are we gonna do
Yeah, we're
that
not gonna
today?
I didn't find out he was a devout Catholic until after he died. He went to Mass every Sunday.
I'm not gonna. It's way too late for me to relitigate the rape case. It's also one of the only things that has ever made me question the comedy stylings of Dave Anthony, right? Because on the day Kobe Bryant died, he was like, "Oh, a rapist is dead," and I was like, "Damn, Dave, damn."
The crazy thing is, people were saying that he was like the ideal girl dad.
That's a tough.
Like, the thing is, it's like
That's a tough
after the
balance,
Colorado
dude.
case, like
Yeah.
his marriage with Vanessa, like, really did like become lockstep, lock tight, and like they had 4 daughters.
Yeah, you hear that, Chris Brown? Because that's the way you do it. You actually change, and you atone for your misgivings. I feel like that's a weird way to
Kobe
phrase a
became
potential
one of the
sexual
biggest
assault,
advocates for
allegedly.
the WNBA. He would always make sure him and Gianna were like at front row of Laker games and shit like that. Kobe did see LeBron play as a Laker. He did see him play as a Laker.
Okay, but do you really think that Prince Harry would have been flying the helicopter that day? That's all I'm saying.
All right, hold on. So Kobe Bryant was known to call random people at random times. Like, people had no idea how they got his number. He even called Bill Simmons one night for fucking advice.
I am super entertained that you are, like, actually, like, entertaining.
If you hear all of
this.
these fucking Kobe... Jimmy Fallon has a Kobe Bryant story.
We're at this party together, and we just started talking to each other. I was just like, I didn't know anybody really at the party. I don't know why I was in there. I snuck in or something. And they ran out of beer, and so they go, "Yo, somebody's got to make a beer run." So they go, "Kobe, you want to make a beer run?" You go, "I'll go." You go, "Jimmy, you want to come with?" So we got in your car. I don't even know what you were driving. Do you remember?
I think it was a Land Cruiser at the time.
Yeah. So we get in your car and we go down to Pink Dot, which is it's a place out in LA out here where they only deliver food to you. It's not a store you can go in and buy stuff. But we don't know. We're brand new. We don't know. You're brand new in LA. I don't know anything about LA.
So we didn't have a Navi system, so we just kind of cruising
Exactly,
around.
yeah. So it was on Sunset Boulevard, so we knock on the glass, and the guy goes like, "What do you want?" And we go, "We want beer." And he goes, "I can't sell you beer. We don't sell anything here. We have to deliver it to you." And we go, "But we got to bring it to a party." He goes, I can't. And you pull your wallet out of your ID out, and you put it up against the glass, and you go, "I'm a Laker."
So what you're saying is it's not out of the realm of possibility for Prince Harry to have been flying that helicopter that
I'm
day.
saying it is not out of the realm of possibility for Kobe Bryant to have discussed with Prince Harry after their mutiny from the British Monarchy to be his helicopter pilot. But the Homeowners Association, when they bought their house in LA, was being super fucking annoying, and they couldn't move in to the point where Harry could pilot the helicopter to get Kobe and the rest, Kobe and Gianna and the rest of their team to their basketball game. How do you think the opposing team felt when the other team didn't show? Aren't you the asshole now?
I had nothing to do with the helicopter crash.
But now you are Schrodinger's fucking this up.
No, you're trying to spin this in a way that doesn't make it sound like you're upset that Prince Harry wasn't here to save Kobe
upset
Bryant.
That Kobe Bryant is dead. Yes, I'm very upset about that.
And I feel like all the people who listened today and tuned in because they were expecting to hear news recaps are also very upset.
Unless they love this type of content.
Which you do, because there's no way you would have made it this far into the episode if you didn't. But
let's talk
that
about
might
it. So
be one of
Prince Harry
No.
now will
I'm
have
done.
to be the emotionally available masculine figure because Jonathan Majors fumbled the bag.
Ooh. I feel like we've already talked about the Jonathan Majors thing, but it hasn't really, like, settled with me yet. I'm still
It's gotta be fucked up. Like, it's the first, like, celebrity, like, scandal accusation that's actually got me like, damn, really?
Yeah, and it's got me fucked up because, like, if you've seen Jonathan Majors acting, he's a very passionate dude, right? I can totally see Jonathan Majors choking the shit out of somebody, dog. And not to say that
like, year and a half, he's been presenting himself as like this gentle masculine figure.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, like, helps it. The idea that, like, yeah, when this dude snaps, it's probably, is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch to snaps?
The dude was on a cover of GQ or Vogue, dressed as, like, Doflamingo from fucking One Piece.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna bring that up because it was a very, like, controversial shoot. Like, everybody was like, oh, the pink and the ruffles, it's like super
and then the weaves
soft.
came out of the woodwork and were like, nah, it's definitely Doflamingo.
Yeah.
And Doflamingo is a scary ass motherfucker.
Apparently, so is Jonathan. I'm still waiting for things to develop, although I am still also a proponent of believe the victim, but this scenario is complicated because the victim has also recused her statement, but she's still also filed a restraining order against Jonathan.
Has been proved earlier this morning.
Jonathan has also been dropped by, like, his
management
company, and
his situation as Kang is
up in the air and is very ambiguous.
It is a lot of hearsay and rumors, but
and
there's been nothing from Disney officially
all
about it.
Very unfortunate for somebody who seemingly had a very promising meteoric rise ahead of them.
Yes.
Right? To go from the realm that Jonathan was in to a Disney product, right? Like, you know, even though it's Marvel, but it's still Disney, right? Like,
Within
that's Disney
3 years.
money. That's
his
not
first
nothing.
Major premiere we covered on this podcast, and we've been doing so.
Not his
within
first
3
major
years,
premiere, but I feel like, you know, the
HBO
thing,
is like big time.
But he was acting before that, and he was acting in big movies before that. Like, you know, in the sphere of the culture
His
that
first
he was in.
major leading role in
Mainstream. His first mainstream.
I
leading
found out
role.
about Jonathan Majors through
Through
Lovecraft
Country. Yes, I mean, fair enough, right? But if you had been following black media before that, then you have seen him in projects before Lovecraft Country.
I get, like, secondary, tertiary black media. I get it, like, a lot of the times filtered through the white lens. Like, it's usually, like, retweeted from, like, internet, from, like, best of internet or something like that.
So, it just felt unfortunate, like the whole, speaking of Lovecraft Country, Jussie Smollett thing. I know Jussie Smollett is not in Lovecraft Country, but his sister Journey is. And when it turned out
doesn't she pronounce her last name Smollett?
I think it is. I
thought
using the Dave Chappelle.
Jesse did that as because he's a
I'm almost pretty certain I also said Juicy Smollett. Using the Dave Chappelle reference.
Yeah.
I probably said Jesse, but
I think she actually goes by Smollett.
Yeah, my point is, it's unfortunate, like, Jesse faking a hate crime. Whether or not Jonathan's physical assault allegations are legitimate or how legitimate they are.
Once again, all allegations should be taken seriously, but you are innocent until proven guilty.
All parties. It is unfortunate considering the circumstances of the trajectory of his career. And being somebody who always roots for black people, especially black men in a non-toxic spectrum, it kind of sucks. Like the Tory Lanez thing, right? Like, and Tory Lanez was a character who always had toxic aspects to him, but nobody expected him to be somebody who would be capable of the things that he's been proven to this point to be capable of. Now,
I felt bad listening to Who Needs Love the other week until the first verse kicked in, and I'm like, no, this is a banger!
Yeah, I never feel bad listening to the music, right? I just, feel bad for the victims who were victimized because of...
She was twerking in She-Hulk. She fine.
I don't think, the Disney lawyers wanted to take on this case, which is super funny because, the guys over at Disney were totally fine with what the fuck Ezra Miller was doing. But, Warner, yeah.
Warner has DC.
Yeah, but also you can't compare apples to oranges, and what Ezra Miller was doing is different.
Apples to androids.
From what Jonathan is doing, but what is very clear is the exodus of one Tucker Carlson, far away from Harrelson, far away from.
Are we just gonna
any
go with
type
Tucker Carlson,
of
or are we gonna change it every time?
Carlson. It
I like
seems
Tucker
like
or Fucker, and let's just keep it consistent.
things are done for Tucker Carlson.
Fucker Tarleson, Tucker Tarleson. Most punchable face in America.
As somebody who likes to speak things into existence, I would like to personally take credit for what has been the downfall of one said DC's psyche's not dead yet, but I mean, it can't be long
Are
after
you
this,
saying
right?
that you called it?
I'm saying that it's long overdue. Because he's already been fired once. Let's not forget that.
But call it.
No, I'm not gonna take credit for calling.
All right.
But I will take credit for leading the movement. Man, it just
apparently he had internal messages that were so inflammatorily racist and misogynistic that even Fox was like, yo.
No, his entire show over the last couple of years has gotten so extremist to the point that Fox News and their
The thing that
founder...
bothers me the most is here's an example of a Tucker Carlson skit. Segment.
My man said skit. No, you were right.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry just moved to Los Angeles. I'm not saying that they were pedophiles in England and they're trying to cover it up. But is anybody asking the question?
So there's... I love this because as I dig further into what is going on with this Tucker Carlson firing, because it's a pretty big thing that's happening right now, right? Because Tucker Carlson has a very coveted, spot.
How far off was I, though?
You're not far. But what I don't feel like is far off is the rumor that Tucker may have gotten fired because Rupert Murdoch's ex-fiance had an obsession with Tucker Carlson because of his far Christian extremist viewpoints. She apparently was one of those
oh, is this some
televangelists? So they broke up after she expressed some very extreme Christian viewpoints at a dinner that him and Tucker and her had, and then shortly Rupert and shortly after Rupert split with his fiance, he also had I'm not gonna say he had Tucker fired, but the call was made to have Tucker removed from his coveted position.
He opened the football case.
So
he's like, all right, I'm gonna set the nukes off. Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, hit the button.
I like the idea that this may have been like despite Rupert Murdoch's ex-girlfriend. No, like Tucker may have just lost his job as like a casualty of war, and that
And like Ime Udoka allegedly lost his job because he was allegedly sleeping with the owner's wife.
No, it's not that. Although it may be that, maybe because like the I don't know. The relationship
sounds like a soap
was
opera. We
weird.
could call it the Fox's Den.
She was allegedly Tucker was her favorite out of all the Fox News correspondents, right? Like that's why the dinner was like an important thing and all of that shit. But it's funny to me like that this may be just part of like some fucking love tryst, and Tucker just caught a fucking stray because Rupert was like, and fuck you too for making that dinner weird. No, but then it turns out that apparently there's allegedly a lot of reasons why Tucker should have been fired in the first fucking place, because who the fucking thought?
So I
Who the fucking thought
when
of
I
doing
saw this on Twitter, I felt
my
myself like conflicted. Like I saw all of these people saying like, "Oh, Fox has lost all of this credibility. I guess we have to go somewhere else." And I'm like, well, I mean, if they think Tucker is losing all credibility, that's fucked up. But they're still leaving Fox, so
yeah, but going where, right, is the case, and that's where everybody is like, "Oh, where's Tucker gonna go now?" And a lot of people think he's gonna go Twitter exclusive because he dropped his, resignations. Fucking
Who do you think is
announcement.
running faster to his front door, Newsmax or OAN?
I don't think either one of them can afford him, dude. I feel like he's gonna try and do the Bill O'Reilly thing, which a lot of people think he's gonna do. I'm not the only
And it
one.
didn't work well for Bill O'Reilly.
No. Bill O'Reilly is doing like
He has a podcast
fraction
behind
of
a paywall.
yeah, and is doing a fraction of the numbers he was doing over at Fox, which is what I hope happens with Tucker Carlson. I feel like maybe at this point there's potential for him to do Alex Jones numbers, which is not nothing. But
You want to know something that I'm not going to celebrate happened, but I will say is nicer and more pleasant than it did? Rush Limbaugh dying. And you know who would agree with me? Tucker Carlson.
it was probably because of that those people went somewhere because they had nowhere else to go, right? Like, without Rush saying crazy shit, they went to Tucker for all their wild hot takes. And now that he's been fired for a second time, because I'd like to remind people that this is the second time that he's been fired. The first time was because of one said Jon Stewart.
It's like I said, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, you know who was the most mad about that? Eli Manning. Only quarterback to have beaten Tom Brady in a Super Bowl until fucking, what's his name? The backup?
Wentz? No, it
Wentz
wasn't
was the
Wentz.
starter.
It was fucking
Some kind of Eagles fan you are. They have a statue out in front of Lincoln Field. Please tell me you knew their stadium was called Lincoln Field.
No, why would I know that? I'm not from fucking Philadelphia. I watch the games.
I like the Eagles because I like the colors. Donovan McNabb was cool.
That's not even it. Like,
Gio was cool.
No, it's literally because the person who got me into watching football was an Eagles fan.
Oh.
Like, so it's more American than Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But yes, no.
Excuse me, Meghan Markle was born in America. She as red, white, and blue-blooded as you are.
Yes, no. But I'm an Eagles fan because my stepdad was an Eagles fan.
I wonder what Prince Harry's favorite American football team is. And I wonder if he calls it American football.
Probably, because he's a fucking wank.
He's, at this point, he's not British. He's just British.
And there goes our chance at ever having Prince Harry on the podcast because I called him a wank one time.
Oh, and me calling him British wasn't enough.
Well, when you're that
I'm
redhead,
celebrating him by saying fuck where he comes from.
I like how you talked over me making a fucking like straight jab at fucking Carrot Tops just now.
What did you say?
You said
Carrot Top?
You said it's late. I'm
And
on
we're
one.
trying to appeal to Zoomers?
Yeah.
Carrot Top.
Yeah.
Really? Alright, audience. Google Carrot Top.
They will.
Read his Wikipedia page.
That's
and look up his fame from the 1990s.
I'd like you to remember that Carrot Top chose the name because he has a fucking brimming bush of red hair.
Duh.
Which was also known as a carrot top at that point. So I wasn't referencing Carrot Top, the washed up prop comedian, who would probably fight me over that.
He'd be like, whoa, I get invited to every third Comedy Central roast.
He's listening. Like, listen. Once Weird Al Yankovic dies, I'm that guy, okay? So you better wise up, buddy. Gallagher was him. He's gone. Okay.
Side. How many Weird Al Yankovic songs have you heard that are better than the original?
Not many.
But there are some.
Listen, Weird Al is a clever guy, right? I'm not here to take away anything from Weird
that
Al.
biopic, by the way, was really good.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing he's ever done, in my opinion.
Like, it's so
meta.
Completely surreal.
It's very meta. It's like the
whole Michael Jackson bad bit had me dying. He's like, this Michael Jackson guy stole your song.
Yeah, it's like Walk Hard. Dude, the Dewey Cox story. Yeah, like that's what it feels like. And I was like, okay. Once I settled into that being the trajectory of this, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is great.
All right, I'm gonna try to watch Walk the Line and then Walk Hard back to back.
But there's nothing to juxtapose the fucking Weird Al Yankovic movie with. Like Purple Rain.
I'm sure somebody has done a serious YouTube documentary about Weird Al.
No, how? How? That sounds like an oxymoron in itself.
I wonder, maybe Weird Al is like a giant fucking asshole in the recording studio, and like he's actually like throwing his mandolin against the fucking wall and shit like that.
That's how they made him look in the mockumentary. But that's also allegedly how Tucker Carlson is in real life.
But more racist.
Yeah, like way more. No, see, that would be the real.
It's really impressive that Tucker Carlson has a more punchable face than Weird Al Yankovic.
I was gonna say that would be the real life behind the music of Weird Al Yankovic, was that he was actually like a fucking misogynistic racist the entire time, and the record label had to stop him from making like extremely racist and homophobic parodies of pop hits. That's the story I want to see. But instead, I'm enjoying what's happening with this Tucker Carlson saga, because apparently, like, you know, the
Everybody made the Unabomber joke about his video.
No, dude, apparently the representatives over at Fox News, like the people in charge of keeping, like, you know, the handlers of keeping their talking heads in line, have a burn book of all the things that Tucker has done. And it hasn't come out yet because, you know, Tucker is playing ball and isn't talking foul of his company that he's being departed from.
There's got to be a certain level of status where you actually realize you need to be careful with what you say.
I know how.
As a public official, as lowly as I am, I don't give a fuck what I say.
I don't think Tucker does either, and that's why
That's the problem. Tucker has a much bigger platform and much more responsibility than I do as
he's
a public
also a smarmy little bitch, so I'm totally waiting for him to, you know, settle into being comfortable not being at Fox anymore and just, you know, start talking tea. Because it's gonna happen at some point, right? You know, he's gonna be like, you know, they just couldn't handle me over there. They've really tried to restrain me the whole time I was there because they did.
Trying to restrain me the whole time. Every single time that I correct the teleprompter, they always bleep out whenever I say.
You mean like Donald? It was like, they don't want you to say, you know, the N-word. They don't want you to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Nuclear. It's like, wow. Is there any... Listen, Donald, god damn it. Do you have to be so hilarious? Because it wouldn't be so difficult if he wasn't so unintentionally
Did he really
hilarious.
act out an orgasm on stage?
I don't
That's
know.
Not AI generated.
I don't know what that was. I know it's not AI generated. I did not look into what it was. I just saw it in a meme.
Oh my god.
We live in wild times.
This is fucking normal.
Yeah, no.
I did want to go back. Jonathan Majors dressed as Doflamingo, right? So Doflamingo has this really cool power.
Oh my god.
So he ate like the thread fruit or something like that. So he can basically like shoot razor sharp threads out of his hands. They're razor sharp fucking threads. So like everything was getting torn up and eventually everybody would get sliced up in that. And I was like, that's a low key, really cool power. And I like when people take like kind of benign powers and make them super busted, which is why I would want to be a waterbender. Because people are like, oh, water. And I'm like, dog, there's water all around us. I can control the temperature of water. I can make fucking like Sub-Zero type swords and shit with water. Are you kidding me? That would be busted. How many dreams have you had where you start flying? In your dreams where you start flying, how do you start flying? I want to ask, how do you start flying in your flying dreams? I know you've had flying dreams. Tell me about how you start flying in your flying dreams.
You're on what? Dog.
How do you start flying in your flying dreams?
Are we really? Is that really what you want to do, or
Yes.
are we ending the episode?
Call me Sigmund Freud. This is B-sides. Do you like Superman, or do you flap your arms?
I usually am just.
Jump?
I'm usually just flying.
How? Like, how are you flying?
Every time I've had a fly, if we're really
So, like, you just, every time you've had a flying dream, you never take off, you're just already flying?
Yes.
But are you just, like, Superman straight, or are you, like, flapping your arms?
No, I'm not
or-
flapping my arms. Do you think anybody is really flapping their arms in their dreams to fly?
I have. I've had multiple different types of flying dreams, and I think the ones that were, like, the most lucent were the ones where I would just, like, jump, and I would start jumping really high, and then all of a sudden I would just, like, flap my arms, and I would get, like, almost like a double jump, and then I was able to, like, glide. So mine were almost more like bird flying dreams.
Do you feel like you felt like a bird, or were you just flapping your arms
because I don't know where my home is, and I don't know where my soul is.
All right, Nelly Furtado, do you feel like you were flapping your arms because that's how you understood flying to be possible for you, or do you feel like you were flapping your arms because of the scenario in the dream?
The scenario was basically just like me in a front yard. I don't know why, but I was wearing like low-cut shell-top Adidas's. I was like, wow, that's like...
That's what you remember about the dream, not why
I
you
remember
were...
a lot more. It was a white shirt and blue jeans.
So you remember what
It
you were
was also like
wearing.
a white picket fence. It was very like Eisenhower America in perspective.
But you don't remember why you were flying.
I was telling the people in my dream that I could fly.
You were telling the people in your dream that you could fly, so you started flapping your wings to demonstrate. Are you fucking...
I took 2 jumps, and by the 3rd jump after that, I jumped really high, and then I flapped my arms, and then I saw myself go higher. So then I started gliding.
Okay,
and
all
then
right.
I was like, okay, that was really cool.
All right.
And then the other people were like,
No,
Yo,
no,
you just did that. And I'm like, let me see if I can do it again. So then I went and I flapped my arm twice, and then I went higher, and then I went higher, and then I went higher, and then I got too close to the sun, and then my arms melted, and I fell and I died. And then I went to the next dream.
Really, all that to make me believe that this was never a dream and this was just a thought experiment. Speaking of thought experiments, I got one for you. Would you rather be able to double jump or flap your arms and fly?
Flap my arms and fly, considering my vertical leap.
Okay, so flap your arms and fly, but your arms still are subject to your normal exhaustion rate.
Still gonna take flap my arms and fly.
So essentially, you turn yourself into a very lanky chicken. Yeah, because you can only fly like the rate of like a chicken could fly.
Yeah, but I fry at 101 degrees.
So you think that's more beneficial to you than double jumping?
Yeah, because I'd basically be able. Well, if I really stepped up my basketball game, I could probably jump in, and they'd be like, "How the fuck does this guy move around the rim the way he does?"
So you think being able to fly like a chicken would be more beneficial in a basketball game than double jumping?
No, I'm saying double jumping would be exclusively more beneficial while playing basketball.
Oh, you just think exclusively. So like not saving a kitten from a tree and getting cool points.
Fuck that cat.
Oh, okay, so fuck the cat, especially like, you know, if the cat belongs to a super hot girl. And you can double jump to save her cat.
Goes from 4 inches to 8 inches. Woo! You want to know where that benefits me? Basketball. And just about that.
No, you're not looking at the potential of this, sir.
I'm already tall.
Exactly. So double jumping.
You're a short king, so you're imagining the world from my perspective if you can double jump.
No, I'm not. Yeah, exactly. Think about that. You being able to double jump with a decent vertical puts you at a huge, like, height advantage, dog.
In basketball.
Yeah, and not just in basketball. In life, my nigga.
Alright, so I guess if I could Smash Brothers it and, like, use my double jump whenever, so, like, I could do my initial jump and then just go like Sanji hockey, kick on the air, and then go in my next jump.
I'm not putting restraints on.
Do I get a recovery move? Ooh,
no.
Can I use the whip like Richter does in Smash?
Now you're just trying to be obstructionary.
No, I am arguing the semantics.
No.
But these are things that need to be considered when constructing an argument.
When constructing a double jumping argument, you're talking about
it's
bringing
like every single time who
props
win,
into
X
it like
versus
fucking
Y,
Gallagher.
And I'm like, great, where are X and Y fighting?
No, you're just being contrarian for the fun of it.
I'm being contrarian for the necessity of it.
No, I feel like double jumping is the obvious answer here because nobody wants to look ridiculous flapping their arms like a chicken unless they're evading some, and like that doesn't even get you far away from anything.
Do you know what also looks awesome?
How long do you...
Flying!
Oh yes, especially when you have to fly like a fucking retard. In a fucking knockoff Mary Poppins project.
All right. Is the chicken wing flight like? Do I get to glide, or is it like Flappy Bird? Is it like Flappy Bird?
Yes, that's what.
If it's like Flappy Bird, I'll take double jumping.
That's what you're suggesting. You're suggesting
so
that people use their own arms.
I'm thinking like I can get to a certain height and I can glide, but the way you're thinking it, it's like fucking Flappy Bird?
Yes, because you're like, people use their own arms. No.
I'll take double jumping over Flappy Bird.
You're like, people use their own arms to propel themselves into the air. And I'm like, do you know how weak most people are, dude? They would literally be able to fly like what a fucking like peacock can fly. Now, I guess a peacock could probably fly further.
Hey, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
I'm a peacock! You gotta let me fly!
I'm just imagining most people, like, it's like double jumping for most people, but more difficult,
okay,
right?
So if it's a Flappy Bird
like somebody like The Rock.
See, these are the questions. See, if you didn't specify
I
that
did.
the flight would be like Flappy Bird.
I did. I said your arms can carry you only as far as you would get tired
but
naturally.
you never said I couldn't glide.
How would you glide?
So
How
I
would that
have
aerodynamically
no
work?
aerodynamic benefit.
No, you're
So,
literally, you
If I
suggested.
stop flapping, I drop straight down.
That's what you suggested.
I
Flapping.
definitely want double jump.
That's what you suggested. You didn't make any specific.
I thought that you could glide. See, these are the questions that need to be
no.
litigated.
No, you
These are
said.
important.
You said I flap my arms and I fly like I in my dream, right? And I guess in your dream you said you jumped.
I'm able to glide in my dreams.
Okay.
You've seen.
So
you've
you would
seen
glide like
a
a
Pidgeot or a Firo fly,
or
right?
like a fucking kite. Like
No, I'm sticking with Pidgeot and Firo.
so you can glide
So,
like you have
can
bird
through one
wings.
thrust of your wing. They can do one thrust of their wings and like ascend really high, right?
I mean, lots
that's
of-
basically what I was able to do.
I feel like lots
So-
of birds can. Anyway, yeah.
No, I'm talking specifically the fictional birds of Pidgeot and Firo.
So you was getting your Pidgeot on in your dream, and you want so based on your rules, then you could.
So then, yeah, I could like kick my legs out, and I could like glide, like if I'm in a squirrel suit. By the way, I want to do a squirrel
Now you in a squirrel suit. You would get down in a wingsuit.
Fuck yeah! Probably when I'm most depressed, so that way it's either really fun or
I was gonna
what
say
I was wishing for anyway.
I feel like that's a white privilege. Remember, like a very like.
Oh no,
old-
I have been told that comedians be like, you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Yo, okay, so I was gonna say like a very old staple of mine from this podcast was that like white people want to die, like because life just isn't thrilling to them anymore after like conquering the planet and making everything about them. Now they want to conquer death, and they do things like fucking trip line dancing and wingsuit parasailing
You want me to give you a
and
very
like space exploration.
So,
I know
will
that
tell you,
those are
I've
not
had-
exclusively
it was-
white things. By
I've
the
had
way.
a personally strange experience in my textual analysis class. Because not a single thing that we have analyzed has been a white man. All of it is foreign to me. My exam was on a novel written by an Asian American. First generation.
Look, shout
born
out
Asian
to
American.
exposure, right? One thing I wish white people would stop exposing themselves to is unnecessary ways to die, or as the TikTok
You
kids
remember
would
the
have it,
Spike TV show,
dumb
1000
ways to
Ways to
die.
The fact that show existed.
Yes, I mean,
People are talking
Well,
about like
the Darwin
TikTok promoting
Awards.
self-harm. That was a syndicated television show.
well, I mean the Darwin Awards, right? Like I have a Darwin Awards book because it's just funny. Like, I mean, okay, death is not funny, but like people put themselves in unnecessary, dangerous risk all the time, like
Some people make their death fun.
wingsuiting.
David Bowie made his death art.
And that's just another example
That's very normal for David Bowie. I actually would have been shocked if he didn't turn his death into some form of art.
I was gonna say that human beings are not normal. We're probably the only animal on the planet that turns their death into art. And I think the rest of the planet that would agree that that's not normal. But what is normal
is ordering all of your Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, Yu-Gi-Oh, card game supplies, and board games at tokenmtg.com and use the promo code Ziggy and get 10% off of your order. Please, someone use the goddamn promo code.
What else should be normal is following us at the Flood Pod on everything,
And
and
that
that's
is on
everything. And remember to like and share this bitch because we are doing
Hit
it
on the algorithm.
for the lulz. But
Oh, by the way, this week's hit on the algorithm is Daylight by David Kushner. Because we've already used Calm Down, Double Fantasy, Kill Bill, Flowers, Chemical. Ooh, have we used Boys a Liar Part 2?
No, I don't think so.
Alright, this week's hit on the algorithm is Boys a Liar Part 2 by PinkPanthress and Ice Spice. And the #1 hit song in 1994, in May 1st, was Ace of Base.
Oh, wow. Wow. Fucking Ace of Base, bro. Goddamn, dog. Oh, man. No, that definitely does not float today. I don't know anybody checking for the latest.
Anyway,
but
got to it eventually.
You guys can definitely catch us for more of the latest hot takes and up-to-dates on everything in the pop culture spectrum, from
including the most American
politics
family
to
the
movies
British royal family.
and all of it at the Flood Pod. We love y'all. Deuces.
Look, it's a flood. It's a flood. It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about Black Sabbath?